You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
God.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Life Happens podcast. As you guys know, the Life Happens podcast is a podcast where we combine spirituality with everyday practical things to create a beautiful balance. Guys, today we are tackling a heavy yet crucial topic: domestic violence. It's a subject that's often shrouded in silence and stigma, but it's one that needs our attention and understanding. So recently, the Diddy and Cassie drama has taken social media by storm, highlighting once again how even the most glamorous lives can be touched by darkness. The allegations and revelations surrounding their relationship have sparked conversations about power, control, and the devastating impact of abuse. In today's episode, we'll explore the signs of domestic violence, the psychological and emotional toll it takes on victims, and the importance of support systems in breaking free from the cycle of abuse. And our title today is Unseen Scars, Stories of Survival and Strength. Whew! I know before we jump into the topic, I just want to say, hey, y'all, hey. We don't have Kim today. She's at I think, a graduation, she said. So it's just the three of us. So anyway, before we jump in, guys, how are you guys doing?
Great.
I'm doing good.
Good. I just want to say I am hungry, y'all. I am so hungry.
What's going on?
Girl, I should have eaten when I came home, but I don't know if you'll do this. Sometimes I try to take a mini nap before the show, like really mini. And then I ended up like reading the notes, and then I fell asleep for like maybe 10 minutes. And I was like, don't do that shit again. Because then you feel so lethargic, and then it's like, do I choose food or do I choose sleep? And I chose sleep, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I did that.
I always choose food.
I should have chosen food, but you know, I didn't.
I chose food today too, Tanya.
And I'm not gonna lie, my stomach's probably gonna mess up. So if I go to if I put it on pause and leave for a little bit, I have been juicing like for 2 days now, and I haven't really been eating food. You know, like I've been, trying to raw vegetables, fruits, juices.
Right.
And I just went to Bronze with my friend and got a double dip mocha chocolate lava ice cream with bananas.
No, ma'am.
Yes. I already got sick. I'm like, oh, my stomach is hurting now.
You know what, Tanya? Wow. I love you, but you deserve
your
stomach to mess you up.
Yeah, I do. Okay.
You deserve. How the hell you go from juicing to ice cream, sis?
Cause I was hungry. It's the processed sugars. It's the processed sugars overtaking my body, making me go through withdrawals.
I get it. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I do, I'm a cheater. Okay, I will cheat on a diet, baby.
Oh yeah.
I can't help myself. I'm gonna cheat. And then when I do these things with people, I'll be like, "How's it going?" They're like, "It's good." And in the meantime, cheating.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to tell them the truth, but I do though. I'm not the worst one to do. I like to do like what's it, lady? JJ Smith smoothie cleanse. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was really good for me. But I don't lose a lot of weight on that though. Like, I don't know why. So then I just get discouraged. It was like I lost 15 pounds. I'm sitting here with
it's the vegetables, the apples with all the sugar. That's sugar. It operates just like regular sugar. So, and then the lack of protein. It's like a love-hate thing. Like you don't want to eat too much sugar. You don't want to eat too many carbs. It's like you have to find the right balance for you.
Yeah, you do.
It's true. But you know what? On the JJ smoothie thing, you know what I started? Actually, I fell in love with tuna fish and apples. Because you want to have sugar, right? So the sweet from the apple and then I would cut up the apple and make like I did too much. I think that's what I did. Because if it
Okay.
doesn't taste good, I'm gonna cheat. I gotta make it fit my palates. Otherwise, it's not happening. Anyway, so guys, I know you guys watched the original video when it first came out, right? So guys,
Mhm.
what we're talking about is the domestic violence, the Cassie and Diddy saga that's going on currently. Um, and I thought it's a good topic to talk about because it's something we don't normally talk about, right? It's
Mhm.
really heavy. And I felt like just in light of everything and seeing how people were responding and Diddy's apology, and like a good Christian woman, I wanted to be like, oh my God. But I was like, he lying. Okay. He lying because he got caught.
So hey, so Instagram will like send you alerts when your friend comments on certain things. And I
Mhm.
got an alert. It said Rabia commented on the Shade Room's post, and I looked at it. It was a picture. It was the Diddy video, and Rabia was like, "You liar!" I could hear it in her voice. You liar.
He was. This nigga's lying. What
So
the
you could tell he was lying.
Let me notice.
And he was confused.
Right. When people get caught, they find God, therapy, and then they self-aware. You are fucking lying. Now, oh my God, like he's found the Lord. Boy, bye.
But this has been a long time in the making and coming, and he knew it was coming because if you look at the months prior to this, he was talking about love and
Oh
loving
yeah.
everybody, and he was trying to do preventive PR. That's even before Cassie, and I was like, why is he on this love thing? What's going on with him? And then
Because
all this happens.
didn't he change his name to Love?
I don't know. He always tries
Girl.
to change his
Because
name.
because he got that child from that lady. He got the new baby's name is Love, isn't it?
I don't know.
So he had a brand new baby with anyway with this lady. She's Asian. Baby's cute,
Hmm.
and that's when I noticed around that time he changed his name.
Okay, but
It's like
I was
Nico Bye.
watching something earlier. It was because she came out and accused him of some stuff, but it didn't go far.
Oh,
Oh,
the baby mama.
Yes, so the
Oh,
baby mama accused him of raping her,
wow.
but it didn't go. And I just watched something about it earlier, and she was on shows talking about it, but it didn't go far, and it didn't really hit the media like this stuff.
oh, okay. So now he's. I mean, ever since Cassie's, their lawsuits, it's been getting worse and worse and worse for him. Like everybody can't be lying. So I was watching, what's that guy's name? Orlando something. He used to be with
Yeah.
like I know he's on drugs, but I don't believe he's lying.
That's so Raven. He used to be on That's So Raven.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe him when he says this thing. Because
Just
what
like Jaguar Wright, Kanye West, whenever they start talking too much, they are built out or made to be crazy. And it's like, yeah, it's more to this.
definitely. Because where there's smoke, there's fire. After a while, you're
But
gonna
I mean, we have been hearing about this for a very long time. The same with R. Kelly. This is not news. It's just now people are doing something about it. But the thing that makes Diddy so complex is the man had 260 cameras in his house. So
what?
anybody, yeah, anybody did anything, he has some footage on them. So a lot of people are scared because he does have that video of them doing whatever God knows they were doing. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, a lot of people got caught up in that. So that's why you hear people coming out, but not as many. That it really is like a lot.
Remember that group he had when he was having back in the day? There was this group of white girls that he
The
had.
Daddy Kane,
Yes, and there was a one girl she couldn't stand him, the lead one. They were
Audrey
always
Day.
right. They were always bumping heads,
Hmm.
and now she's like she talks about some of the stuff,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then a lot of people have an NDA. So
oh wow, yeah,
Yeah. So
and then
I was
also
I
go
mean,
ahead,
that
go ahead.
goes to there was this one guy, and he was talking about the whole situation, and he was like, at the end of the day, everybody's over here talking about what they did. Most of these people signed up for it. Like, Like, hey, let's not forget that. Like, hey, yeah, I understand. It is not right to hit a woman. It is not.
No.
But Cassie, they said that she knew what he was doing to Kim Porter and was laughing when he would do it. Like, Kim Porter's friend came out and was like, I remember Cassie laughing and making fun of her, you know? And so,
really too.
yeah, but I mean, like, you knew what he was. He showed you who he was early, and y'all stuck with it because why? Y'all got famous. So a lot of them signed up for it. Like, all the men that they was all doing what they was doing to each other, they signed up for it.
Did
Like,
you see the latest thing that talks about how he broke her nose and
Yeah.
then flew a surgeon in?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I believe
Yeah.
it.
Oh, he's been a monster.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember
what
back in the Biggie days, I always thought he killed Biggie because, you know, when Faith Evans and all them talked about that song, you know, the song that they did for Biggie in his memory, the mama didn't get no money, they didn't get no money, people weren't owning their masters. It just was clear what type of person he was. And like Tanya said, they signed up for it. Cassie knew what time he was on. She may not have knew the extent at that moment. You know, she saw, you know, what he did to Kim, but it was a lot of stuff going on that she probably didn't know until she got all the way in that. You know what I mean? She
right.
was like, oh, it's probably not that bad. And we as women think he's not gonna do it to me. He did it to her, he ain't gonna do it to me.
Yep.
And that it always never works out like that.
There's something I learned about the nature of people. When they tell you something they did to somebody else, they can do that shit to you too.
Oh yeah.
So don't get it twisted. You know, I remember I was talking to this guy one time, and he was telling me how he ghosts people, right? And let me tell y'all, I had never experienced ghosting until that experience. And this Negro, let me tell you, was married, and I didn't know. So everything he told me, they did to other people, he did that shit to me. But you know how sometimes as women we have intuition that we don't use a lot of the times, and then you just one day I just had these thoughts. And then I decided to jump on that thoughts. And when I jumped on that thoughts, I found out shit that it didn't last long though, but long enough. You know, and when I think about Cassie, I think about when she was messing with Kim Porter. Like you were saying, we think we don't happen to us. And he probably was treating her differently, you know? And so she thought, oh, I'm different. Girl, you ain't different. You ain't different. You just new. It's like when you have a new car, you keep that mud clean. You are not, I gotta tell my kids, don't eat in my car. And then afterwards, should they be eating after a while? Because it loses its newness, right? And you have to be intentional about keeping that newness. But are you guys ready for the video?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
So this is the thing. If you're not asking for forgiveness, then what you're asking for, actually? What
Grace.
you're asking for?
That's for grace.
Go by. He lying.
Hey,
He,
He not lying. He is.
He lying.
I don't think he's lying at all. It's just like the kid that gets caught. He keeps doing it till he gets caught, and now, oh yeah, it is wrong. Yeah, I might not need to steal that. Oh yeah, it's wrong. It's bad because they're caught. You know,
right.
not because of anything that he had a revelation, I got caught.
Yeah.
And I can't explain this away. So I have to own it because I can't explain it away.
And I want to make something clear. This is not about men against women, right? Because we know that there are some women that abuse men as well. So
Yeah,
I just want to make it clear. This is not a war against men and women. And no, we are talking about this because of, the relevancy of it. But we do understand that there are some women that do the same shit. Okay. Because, a sidebar. So I met somebody one time, right? This is funny to me. And he told me that his ex-wife gave him a black eye. Now I hope he's not watching this, but if you're watching this, honey, that day you told me that story, I knew then I would never see you again in my life. Okay? I knew we had no future. Okay, but it's the way he was saying the story. Now I'm not saying you should have put his hands on her, but dude, come on, sir. He said she pushed him in the bathtub. So all I could imagine was him scrambling to try to grab that shower curtain to hold himself up. And this ninja was about 6'5". I was like, I'm gonna beat your ass too, But anyway,
See, but that's the thing though. Like, you can't say men shouldn't hit women, but then it's okay for a woman to hit a man. He shouldn't respond.
Yeah,
it's not okay.
And I told my daughter,
and then we laugh at him for it.
Go ahead.
I'm guilty of doing crazy stuff. Like, I can't even lie. Like, I've, done stuff that's not,
I hit you
nice
back
to talk about.
No, I'm saying,
yeah. But like I tell my daughters all the time, I was like, everybody not raised right. Men are not supposed to hit women, but don't put your hands on a man. Don't think that it's okay for you to slap him, punch him, and then, these men these days will hit you back harder. Then you hit them. So just keep your hands to yourself, because don't provoke anybody. That's my biggest thing, especially a man. You can't win with a man. You depending on the type of men you deal with, more than likely most men are stronger than women. So you're not. That's like a losing battle.
Yeah, and I have to teach my son as a black male that goes to a school that's predominantly white. I told him white woman tears will put you in jail. If somebody puts their hands on you, please don't hit them back. Because first of all, he's a big kid. It doesn't matter what size you are, but the reality is he's a big kid. He's a black male. Okay. And when that white girl starts crying, your ass will be labeled and tarnished. Now, I'm not saying that it's right for her to put his hands, their hands in. And there's something I trained my daughter too. I said, stop putting your hands on your brother. Mm-hmm. He's stronger than you. Now, but there are a lot of women out here that we're not teaching our sons that. Or our daughters. We're not teaching our daughters to respect our sons because I don't know why. She's a girl. No. That girl's going to be a woman and take that same behavior into relationships. And I don't play that in this house. No, you're not going to put your hands on him, and you're going to respect him, and he's going to protect you. And I teach that like from this level, because one day he's going to be out the house, right? And you have sons too. We all have sons, but I see a lot of it where, she's a girl. Nah, fuck that. No,
keep your hands to yourself. And I told my boy, my son, I was like, if a woman has violent tendencies, like if y'all get into an argument and she doesn't like to use her words, walk away. That's not the girl for you. Because it's a lot of people that cannot use their words for disagreements. Like they have to physically touch you, push you, shove you. You meet a person like that, it's like in their blood to fight, to be violent.
That's true. I told my kids, you got a mama and two sisters, because we can do what you can do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Even in relationships.
True story, abuse story of a man. Mm-hmm. This guy went to high school with, he dated this woman. Well, he was married. He was engaged to this girl, and he married her. He said they were at Thanksgiving dinner with her parents and her sisters and brothers. And so the mother and the father, the mother and father got into it. And he said they started physically fighting. The kids all jumped up and started fighting the dad. And it just the whole family, Thanksgiving dinner. Now picture this, they're fighting. He marries this girl. and ends up divorcing her because he says all she wanted to do was fight and put her hands on me. Did you
Hold on.
not see the red flag? Like,
Wait, this was before the marriage. This happened.
yes,
And his dumb ass still married her?
yes.
No, he deserved that beat down because why would you? They beat your ass at Thanksgiving and you still married her. I want to know what power this woman had. What was it?
I don't know, but to see the lifestyle of her parents, her parents, a man and an older woman, fist fighting at Thanksgiving table, fist fighting, not fussing, fist fighting. So it's like, yeah, it does happen to me. And he was like, she was very abusive. Like he said, in a moment's notice, she was good to slap me. She hit me in the back of my head. She would hit him off guard, And I'm like, really? Like I've never been that type of person that results to physical violence. But yes, men do get abused. There are men out there getting beat up.
So I want to get a little personal.
Mm-hmm.
Before I ask general questions, have any of you guys been in a situation of domestic abuse or violence?
No.
Yep.
CJ says, "Damn, who getting smacked up like that?" You at Thanksgiving. Just joking. Do you care to share a little bit about that, Tanya?
I think for me, or no, I don't think I know. So we watched it growing up. I grew up in a household where my mother was abused. We watched her get abused. We tried to save her, and we would get hit ourselves. And
Right.
for me, it just kind of carried on to adulthood. It did. Like, I would accept it. If it happened, I would accept it. I did have my share, and I do take all accountability for my actions on if I provoked it or if I put my hands on them first. But there were times where no, like, it was overboard, and, it took a toll. It did. It took a toll on me, and it did. And now that I'm older, like now, and I'm not even gonna say older. Now I'm 35. So I've grown up in chaos my whole life. So it's like, I didn't know any better, but now I'm 35. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to fuss with you. I'm going to walk away. So for me, since it has been like a life, to me, it's a lifetime of just seeing it and repeating it and seeing it and repeating it. I have finally, I feel like I grew out of it. Of course, therapy helped,
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up in it, and then I just took it with me. I just, for some reason and then I'm not saying all of them. And then, like, maybe I've had like maybe one or two.
Right.
Yeah. And that, I eventually got to the point where I would, I wouldn't even just fight back. I would provoke it. And then, of course, alcohol doesn't help. Being under the influence doesn't help in a lot of these situations. And in every situation, we were always under the influence of something. And so that never made it easier either. So, but also, I have advocated for domestic violence. When I first got started in doing my advocate work, um, it was before anything happened to me, but it was more of, because I did grow up in that household and I did see my mom get it. And then we were a part of it as well, because we're trying to save her or any of that. So, I mean, I've seen I always feel like I had like the minor end of things, because I've seen and I've talked to women who have went through some things, and I couldn't even imagine them, the kids, like, and it would be people that, I've met before, and I never would have known that they were going through what they were going through. But I've seen, I had one lady come out where her husband, like, she couldn't even shower if her husband didn't tell her she couldn't. Like, they would eat. They could eat if the husband didn't say they couldn't eat. And and he would just, like, if he would get mad, he would beat her. And it was just the way they lived and stuff. Like, she couldn't have money to take care of stuff. Like, he controlled everything. And it just got to the point where he would just beat her so bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been around helping me get out of my trauma. I did, kind of put myself in the front line of it. And so that's when I like seeing stuff like this. It hurts to see stuff like that, but I'll also look at it of all aspects. Like, okay, I can look at it every angle. Yes, it's not right, but why are you still there? Like, you have the funds, you have the means. If someone in her stature, and we're talking about Cassie at this point, you have the means to get away. I've sat here and I've seen women die because they didn't have the means to get away. And we make a big deal about freaking celebrities who wouldn't give two shits about anybody out here. But there are women out here dying just because a man treats them the way they treat them. I've seen men put, this is back in the day when they had the phone cord, put phone cords around and start pulling.
Wow.
And we're out here, we're worried about what the hell these celebrities are doing. What about what people are doing next door to us?
Right.
So that's where I get passionate about it. Like I get it, it's bad and whatnot, but these flipping celebrities don't give a shit about any one of y'all that are talking about it. Like, they don't. They've
No,
got millions of dollars, and just like what happened when Cassie finally spoke up, guess what made her shut the hell up? Some money. That's the only reason she did it. She got paid. But what about the women who don't get paid? What about the ones that actually die? So how about instead of you over here talking about I'm a victim of domestic violence, yeah, and you got paid millions for it. Why don't you take that million and help the ones that aren't going to get away from their abuser? So that's where I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm just like, when I hear this shit, I'm like, whatever. I'm at this point, I'm like, y'all are fucking a circus. This is a circus. This is a show. People need to stop feeding into it, because there is some real life domestic violence that is going on that is right next door to us. And we're worried about what the hell Diddy's doing.
Right.
He's doing exactly what they signed up for him to do to them. They knew what the hell he was doing. And so that's how I feel.
I think you're so brave to be able to share that, and I'm so sorry you experienced that. And your passion is amazing. So thank you for being so transparent. I know that can't be easy, for sure.
Always, yeah. But yeah,
And you also have to show yourself some grace, right? Because you saw it growing up, so it's normal. But thank God you had the mindset to get out of it, right? And teach your children differently.
right.
So that's a good thing that you did there, because a lot of us stay in stuff. And I want to ask you a question too. So abuse normally just doesn't start with just physical immediately. I've seen stuff. It starts with like emotional, verbal. Is that how your experience? Is that what you saw growing up? Is that how it started, or did you just see the physical aspect of it?
Because I was always little. It started since I was little, and
Right.
I guess I didn't understand most of the stuff. I just seen the physical, and then as a small child, and seeing that consistently in every relationship that she got us into, because it wasn't just her, it was us.
Right.
It would make it, like, it would get worse. But yeah, starting off little, no, I didn't see the verbal, I didn't see the mental, but I always saw the physical. I didn't really start realizing about verbal and mental abuse until I was probably in my 20s, 25, 26. Like, I was older when I finally, like,
Right.
like, wait, that's not right.
Yeah.
You don't talk to people like that. You don't treat people like that. So it took me a lot to finally understand, like, the aspects of it, that abuse isn't just physical. I always thought it was just physical.
Because the abuses are slick, though. They do start off subtly, very subtly. I want to read some comments. CJ said, "Who is it? What's his name?" Because he'll show up and beat his ass, is what he said.
Yeah.
And then he also says, he said, "I also feel like people need to learn how to control their emotions."
Right.
A lot of times people that abuse have been abused, but that doesn't make an excuse for their behavior, right? So probably the people doing the abuse saw their parents. But the difference is, Tonya, you changed the narrative for your children. And I feel like it's not an excuse for people to continuously, let the cycle continue. It's a decision that we make. I know in my experience, I got divorced because of domestic violence, and there's also alcoholism, but I did not feel abused. And I know it sounds crazy. It was when I went to therapy after I left that I realized that I was in a domestic situation because I fought back, right? So I didn't feel like that until afterwards. You're like, oh, and my ex is a huge man, and I felt like I was 7 feet tall when somebody put their hands on me. Like, it was crazy. Looking back, I can see how it could have escalated. I can see how I could have probably lost my life. But in the moment, I didn't see that. Right. I always thought, and I learned this when I went to the support group for people from domestic violence. I thought that women that were abused were mild, and I wasn't mild, so I did not feel abused. And it comes in so many different ways because the man I married and then the man I divorced were two different people. And I mean, I never would have thought that I would end up there because growing up, I never witnessed abuse like that. There was a different type of abuse, but not like that. And so it affected my mental health a lot. Like I shared this before where I was in a mindset of fuck niggas because of that. It changes, and how you respect, but then you learn that not everybody's the same. You can't expect. Now, I will say on my part, my mouth was really deadly, and I'm in hindsight, I also definitely contributed to that. Definitely. And when I think of my ex's past, he witnessed that as well. So it was just a cycle being repeated. That's why I'm so big with my children about my son not hitting girls and my daughters not putting their hands on them. And I will say, I don't start fights, but I will finish it. Okay. Because if you put your hands on me, I'm gonna put my hands back on you. I'm not the type of person that just starts shit. I don't wake up one day and say, who can I mess with? I don't do that. But if you come for me, you get what you want. That was the old Rabia. Let me be clear. Now she'll call the popo on you. Go ahead and try that.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Right.
Like, owe me. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I hit my kid's dad with a few things. It was out of anger, and I've done a few things that I wouldn't be proud of either. But yeah, once you learn how to process it and control your emotions.
Right.
At the end of the day, that's all it is. Now, I don't even do. I mean, yeah, of course, I'll call the cops if you touch me, but I won't argue with nobody. I'll let you be all mad and pissed off by yourself, and I'm gonna walk away. I'm real good about that. And you know what I've been finding out? It makes people a lot more madder when you just shut the fuck up and walk away. I swear, I'm like,
it does.
It does.
Especially narcissist people, because they're looking for emotional reactions.
Yeah.
They are looking for you to spaz the fuck out. And when you don't have a response, and they'll keep trying. But it honestly wears on you when you have to not react because you want to cuss their ass out. But you're like, nah, I'm not feeding that demon in you, baby. So I need to read some comments from CJ. He said, the tongue is mighty powerful. And then he says, once there's physical violence involved, the respect in the relationship is over in my book. It is. There's no respect.
Yeah.
Well, I also grew up around a lot of domestic violence. I've seen women have TVs thrown at them. This is as a little kid.
Damn.
I've seen women get choked out. I've seen women get beat up. And it kind of had the opposite effect to me. Like if I even felt an inch, I was a runner. If I felt an inch that this person was a little violent, I was like, I won't beat you no more, I'm out. So it would, I had like this one argument with this guy, and he threw a pillow at me, a couch pillow, and I was out. It's like, I don't want to talk about it. He was like, it was just a pillow. No, because today's a pillow, tomorrow's the TV. That was my thinking. Like, no, I'm not. So I did the opposite. I ran. I had a fear of that. Like, I do not want to get in a marriage with a man that's going to try to kill me, because I seen it so much growing up. Not in my house. I'm talking about in households across the street. Right. I used to see women outside with their husbands beating them, and everybody's just looking and staying out of it. It was like, that's not what I want. I don't want a marriage like that. But thank God I did see some good marriages as well that weren't abusive. At least I didn't see them be abusive. But I did see a lot of marriages, because I was 70s, 80s. So in that time frame, a lot of women were getting abused outwardly. Now they try to hide it, but then it was like, you beat your wife, okay, pass the bread. It was not anything that people were as embarrassed about. You know what I mean? It would be embarrassing now for a man to come out and say he hit his wife or put her in line.
Yeah, because we're not going to want you off there. You're going to be single forever, baby. Forever.
Yeah.
Because no one wants that. Somebody says that we need to do a part 2 and add him on because he got some insight he'd like to provide. Okay. We can definitely do that. You said something interesting, Tanya, about the Cassie and Diddy thing. And you're very strong in your opinion about fuck them celebrities. No. But do you think that the situation influenced public awareness?
No. I think it influences, but it's not in a positive way. Absolutely not. Because if that was the case, then it would have done it by now. It's not. All it is giving social media. It's making them richer. The media sources have something to profit off of now, and it's not doing nothing. This is what is it? What they call it, like the placebo effect. They're giving to, oh yeah, now we're against it. We're against this. No, they're not. So if that's the case and all this, then where are the actions being taken from it? Because that's, yes, I understand y'all are rich and y'all are getting this, but there are people being abused. Women are dying just because they can't financially get away from that husband because he took all means from her. So to me, it's
that's
like,
my baby.
Oh, hey. So for me, it's like, is it bringing awareness? No, it's bringing a damn circus.
Right.
It's like the damn freak show came into town and that's all we could talk about. But no one, I'm not saying no one, but the only thing that's getting the attention is the Hollywood effect, the Hollywood people, Hollywood. Just like the lady that y'all were talking about and his baby mama, that she, way before all this shit came out, said that he raped her and that's how she got pregnant. She didn't get no attention. Why? Nobody knows her.
Wow.
Right?
That's real.
Everybody knows Cassie. She spoke up, but guess what? It took Cassie a little bit of money to shut the fuck back up. That's all it took. So let's just be real with that. If we're going to be real, everybody wants him to take accountability for what let's her take accountability too now. Why are you really here, Cassie?
But it also took a while to speak up, though.
It did, but that's what I'm saying. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because she went through years of that. Young.
I was looking at some pictures that were showing like where she had marks on her body, and no one knew, like what was going on. And then I also read recently that that hairstyle she had with the shaved side of her head. Apparently, he forced her to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Like when you want to have control how a person looks, their hair. It's one thing to ask your partner, hey, is this something you want me to do? Or they request, hey, can you do more of this? That's fine. Like, as far as what you wear and stuff like that. But to force you to do certain things, nah, that's not cool. And clearly, like I was saying earlier, they find God, therapy, and it seems like they're accountable. But that's bullshit. You're only accountable because you got caught.
Right.
And now no one's going away. Everybody keeps talking about this. And and then 30 Cent is not even leaving this man alone. He's not playing with it. Like, he don't give a shit. I'm like, wow. Hey.
He's funny, though. Because he says what everybody won't say. That's why he says.
I know. I'm like, damn. He would not let. He's been saying that he was gay. Stuff like that. And then, of course, the other guy confirmed it. He said, I was watching this video because I've been reading up on the stuff. And he said that if you took your girlfriend to one of Diddy's parties, you don't have to worry about your girlfriend. You got to worry about yourself. Because he don't want the girl. He wants the guy. I was like, damn, really?
Yeah.
I never would have thought that. But when you
they've been saying that for years, though.
Yeah.
That right along with selling your soul,
Somebody said they say he beat her because he loved her.
Mm,
If that's love, no thanks. I'll pass.
yeah, no.
So I have a question, guys. What are effective ways to teach young people about healthy relationships? How can we teach our children about healthy relationships?
Number one, by
Right,
example. I think that's the
right,
strongest thing. But next is, stop shutting kids up and let them express themselves. And they,
right,
because a lot of people, what I find out about abusive men, and this is in a lot of situations, my own observation, that most of the time it's like, as a kid, this is so sad. I can see, like, I'm in my head telling the woman, shut up, shut up, shut up, because he's gonna, hit you. And a lot of the times these men don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to express what they're feeling, so they use their fist. And it's very, very sad, because women, we, like you said, Rabia, we have a sharp tongue. We can really get them with that mouth. And so when they feel backed up against the wall, they come out swinging. And I've seen that in a lot of situations. So I think it's allowing people to allowing the children to express themselves and letting them know that physical expression is not the way to express yourself, especially young men.
this
And
is
like
an
what you're
interesting,
doing, teaching them not to hit girls.
right. This is an interesting comment. Should disciplining a child with spanking be off the table so that a tone isn't set in the house? That is a way to make someone behave. What do you guys think about that?
At a certain age, yes.
Yeah, the third, yeah.
Yeah. When they're little, no. You pat
Yeah.
you pat that hand, you pat that ass. But
Right.
my kids, once they got to a certain age, I stopped.
Yeah.
Like, hey, y'all too big now. They're
Because it starts hurting your hand, guys. Your hand starts hurting.
yeah.
Okay.
Your hand
But
starts hurt, and you just know you can't take them no more. No, I think for me, my kids, I would say about 8, 9. Both of
Yeah.
them. They were both. Like now, it's like, okay, now you're a little bit older, and this is when we start learning how to communicate. And
right.
I'm a teenage mom. I'm a young mom. I'm now just finally learning this stuff, but my kids are 19 and 14. So it's like, damn, man, I wish I would have done this differently. Okay, that's cool though, because now they're going into adulthood, and I'm like, hey, you don't talk to people like that.
Right.
You need to
Right.
tell, like, let's talk about it. And then I still catch myself getting angry and still going, damn. So, and I did yesterday morning. I got mad at my daughter and started going off. So even it's still a learning curve for me, but learning when they get to that certain age, you start talking to them, communicating to them. And then, I don't know, for me, I guess a lot of people say I treated, no, he didn't. That I treat my son just sent me a cash app request. Like, damn it. He's like, oh, you said my name. No.
Okay.
But
Somebody just said that Diddy needs counseling and forgiveness from the public.
he needs forgiveness from the Lord.
Right.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, what he did is not what he likes, what he is not none of our business. He needs, but he asked for it. He asked for grace on the video, and I can't, y'all. I be asking for grace all the time.
I am Jesus.
Yeah. He needs to ask for forgiveness from his victims.
Right. Because he said he's not asking for forgiveness. Boy, bye. You know what? Did he? It doesn't. Okay, let's be honest. It's not making me any richer or helping pay my bills. Right? It's not.
No. No.
I want to say something, Tanya. One of the things I didn't do when my kids were small, I did not spank them when I was angry.
Yeah.
I
No.
didn't do that because of we were not spanked. We Africans, we were beat. They beat the shit out of us. And with no explanation. So you could be sitting in a room, she would just come in there, beat your ass, and not tell you why. So you never knew why. So you don't know.
Yeah.
Seriously, so you didn't know what you did wrong. So how am I gonna stop what behavior when you didn't? So for me, I explain things. This is why you're being punished.
Mm-hmm.
But I never beat them where they had marks.
Mm-mm.
My ex used to say I wasn't beating them, I wasn't spanking them. Like, no, he did most of the spankings while I was standing there saying, leave my kids alone, because that's a little much. But they were not like beat like that. And then they got older, and then I was like, what is they gonna do? Because they all bigger than me now anyway. What am I gonna do? And
Yeah. And I agree with Tanya about a certain age, but one of the things we do here is, like you, Rabia, we explain what's going on. But after a certain age, I think like 3 or 4, my husband did not put his hands on my daughters because he didn't want them to think that that's what men do to women.
That's
So
good.
I would be the one with the spanking.
Right.
But I think like after a certain age, when they start getting 7, 8, and they understand and they can comprehend what's going on, spanking
Right.
is just doesn't work. Because some kids be
Okay.
like, give me the spanking. I don't want the punishment. I'd rather give you the punishment. I'd rather take the phone. I'd rather cut the TV off or whatever that situation is.
The
Because
thing,
that's a better punishment for an older child, not
right?
hitting them.
Their phone, baby, their phone, and their video game.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo!
Thought their life is over.
Yeah.
This guy, the same guy that says Diddy needs forgiveness and help, he said poor guy's begging for help. But you know what? I like you, but you tripping now.
We don't know nobody's heart. I'm not saying he is, and I'm not saying he isn't.
Nah.
But
We don't.
I don't know his heart. But it's not even. I don't have a heaven or hell to put him in, so my opinion doesn't matter anyway. But
Right. I think also another way to train our children is to really talk about respect, right?
Yeah.
They need to understand respect in relationships, especially with our girls, because we know men, what do they need? They need respect. That's like the 6th love language, right? And we are training them to be a contributor to society, but also knowing that they're probably going to get married one day, or they may not. But even in that, they need to learn about respect, consent, communication, how to effectively communicate. I don't think that's something that people put a lot of stock in. Because think about it, if you are in a household, 2-parent household, or even I'll take myself for example, life is really busy, right? Doing this by myself, it is really, really hard. And so there are gaps and they could be missed. So one of the things I do is that morning commute to school and then back from school. Those are the times when we really talk, because I'm not doing a million things, right? And those are when we talk about our day, what happened, what could you have done differently, why did you respond that way? And that's where I do most of my stuff now that they're older, you know. I got a comment from somebody. They said corporal punishment accomplishes nothing and is outdated mechanism to communicate to children. It does not work and only creates other issues such as fear and trust. What do you guys think about that?
Okay, go compromise with a 2-year-old. Go communicate with your 2-year-old. Explain to your 2-year-old that the stove is hot.
This man's make me mad. He said Diddy loved Cassie and claimed he was only trying to help a poor guy. He must be playing with me. You've got to be joking. You must be joking. Please.
He is.
He has to be. Oh, Jesus. But
explain
anyway.
to your 2-year-old, don't run in the street.
Say, sweetheart, don't go in the street. Or don't put. Let me tell you about my daughter one time. So I have this stovetop that's flat, and she used to climb up on it to get snacks, right? And I always thought, because when it's off but it's cooling down, you can't tell that it's hot. So let me tell you what she did one day. I wish you could come tell the story. She was going to get some snacks and she jumped up on it, and the stove was hot. It had just been turned off, and from her knee to a middle of her shin, she got burnt and went to school, and they thought that we burnt her. Now, that was a lesson sis learned very well, where I didn't even have to spank her or pop her. Sometimes they are hard-headed enough to learn that way. So,
I literally told my daughter, and she will attest to this, when she was like, I know she had to at least be 3 or 4 years old. PJ was crawling and he had a penny and he was trying to put it in the electric socket. And I said, no. And
God.
he did, and I took the penny away. Well, she was going to go take the penny and do it anyway. And she was 3 years old and she got electrocuted. It's not funny. She got up and she's fine. But exactly, like, okay, How do you explain?
You cannot reason with that. You can't say you're gonna die. They don't know the concept of death and what that actually means.
Right.
You gotta feel it a little bit. Maybe get a little pinch.
Yeah.
I will say though, I never allowed like people from my culture to reprimand my children physically because they always went over the freaking top.
Right.
Even when you're pinching, it was really ridiculous.
Right.
And what he said about fear and trust, there's some truth to that, right? But when you're 2 and 3 years old, I gotta show you. Because you know, I can talk to you and I gotta pop you a little bit. And when I'm saying that, it's not beating. There's a difference between beating and popping.
Right.
Well, pop that ass.
I have additional comments. He says, you remove the child from the danger and you hold your 2-year-old's hand and you walk in the street. A 2-year-old should not be walking without the protection of an adult hand.
You're right. But getting groceries out the car, what are you doing? Well, I mean, it's situations that people always think they have the answer. And there's no shade to the person that wrote this.
True,
but people think they always have the answer. Let me tell you how fast the 3 or 2-year-old, they're very quick. They're extremely fast
as hell.
Oh,
they're
fast
fast as hell. So, you know, I love it. And I'm sure it was a man that said we should be holding their hand and doing all this because a lot of the times they're not the parent that's with that 2-year-old majority of the time. And that's no shade to nobody. When I talk about those type of small corporate punishments, it's to the women because it's mostly the moms that's dealing with the kids that's 2 and 3 years old because the dad is probably in the room playing video games and he's not paying attention to what they're doing. So yeah, no.
We have a question from somebody.
I agree to disagree.
It's very easy for people to. I know a lot of times my kids were with me when they were small. There was one time, y'all, I opened Aaliyah's stroller because I was reaching into the diaper bag to get a snack. And when I turned around, shit, gone off like that. And there was 3 of us running after her. I never knew she could run that fast. Like she was gone. She was out of there.
Right.
I mean, and she didn't understand. Even when I told her, you know, she didn't understand the dangers that she was in.
No.
And I would never let my kid be by the streets, you know, alone. That's not the type of parents that we are.
No.
But
again, like you said, she was fast. You know, but
she was quick. She ran her toes, baby.
The new parents always have got, you know, they have all the answers. So I agree to disagree. I'm just waiting for this new batch of what's that? Quiet parenting, soft parenting. I'm waiting to see those teenagers.
Because I can see those that are not being spanked. I see how you'll behave when you're in the grocery store.
Oh God.
And then I'm not going to mention certain nationalities, but when I was in Ross one time, them kids was running around, baby. I wanted to, because I don't have my kids doing that.
Mexican.
I don't have my kids doing that.
One time we were in a restaurant, one kid kept running. He was running. I was like so irritated. I put my foot out. I tripped the little motherfucker.
No.
Like, always the fucking Mexicans. Ooh.
No.
So,
I can say
a friend and I were in a restaurant at brunch. This little kid, probably 3, 4, walked up to our table, picked up a fork, and was trying to get it to my friend's plate. Also, are you going to explain to him that that's not appropriate behavior? But again, that was a soft parent. No, we're not going to do that. And let's walk you back over here. And he came right back and did the exact same thing.
Why are you going to have that accent, Felicia? Why did you have that accent?
Yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to go sit down. And he came right back. So it's like, okay.
That little thump. You gotta
shit is funny. So somebody has a question for you guys, and he said, "Should a man beat his wife if she gets out of hand?" You trying to piss me off? I know you are.
Sure, go ahead. And I want to be there calling the police.
You won't go to jail, baby. Cause see, I'm gonna let the white man get you.
Yeah.
I am. At this big old age, I ain't fighting nobody.
No.
Oh.
Ain't fighting nobody. You gonna go to jail.
You going to
You're
jail
gonna have a
today.
felony, and you ain't gonna get a good job. You're gonna go. That's what's happening. Okay.
And I'm pressing charges. You
Yes.
going to jail, and I'm pressing charges, and I'm getting a restraining order. I'm gonna
Yeah,
do all the things.
baby. You ain't gonna live life like you thought.
I'm doing all the things.
No, he trying to be funny.
Yeah.
Do you beat your wife? Let me ask you that. Answer that question. So another question. So how do we reduce the stigma around domestic violence to help more victims seek help? So I'll start with you, Tanya.
So I feel that if everything, if everything is going on, if they use this platform correctly, and I think that it could possibly help. We need to bring more awareness of it, that it's happening more than what we think. And maybe I just really would like for the stories of people that we can relate to, like those would actually get media attention. We're not gonna break the stigma. It's gonna happen. We live in a world full of drugs and alcohol. Okay, drugs, alcohol, men and women, and we're fighting, and things are happening. But I think that we really need to. I don't know. It's hard saying this because I've done advocate work, and I've been out there asking for money, and trying to get help for these programs and things. And it just really ticks me off. Like when something like this gets more attention than somebody. I have a friend that their sister was, it called the police. Like the police is supposed to like help beg, and it took them so long to get to her because they didn't take it seriously. He killed her. Why don't things like that make it as big as this? The lady who left the baby, the lady who cried wolf, that had the baby, that found the fake baby on the side of the road and got kidnapped. She got more attention than a woman who died from domestic violence. It's just like, don't make this we don't make the real cases, or I'm not gonna say real cases, we don't make the everyday cases big, so it's just like we sweep it under the rug. So we can't we're never gonna break the stigma of it until people like Cassie, Diddy, all them actually say, hey, we lived through this, we went through this, and now this is what we're gonna do to make things better, because clearly the public listens to you. Clearly the public listens to y'all. So now, I mean, and honestly, if Diddy wants to find redemption, he better start doing some advocate work.
And
I can see him doing that, trying to get right.
Good. Ooh, Jesus.
At least give some money to a foundation or do something. I don't know. I just really hate that all this is coming to light, but we're still stuck on the fact it's because, oh my God, it's Diddy, it's Cassie. No, this shit happens every day, and people don't lie.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. But because we look at them like they're untouchable, that's why it's like shocking, right?
But why? Because they're on TV.
Yeah, basically.
I mean,
that's the reality of it, I think we can reduce stigma by public education, like the stuff you do, the advocacy that you do, and encouraging people to talk about it and not feel ashamed, by being empathetic, by being supportive, and creating a culture where people know that we may not be able to relate to you, but we're going to be empathetic and we're going to be understanding. I think that's essential to do that. And just be able to have those hard conversations, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about, there's so much stuff I didn't share in my own life. And just, we don't, I think, realize, because I'll say this. I used to think that my kids didn't see a lot of the stuff because a lot of the times when this was happening, you would be in my bedroom, and my bedroom situated at the back of the house. And you think they don't know. But I found out, like, after I was divorced, that they knew a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. And what made me actually leave was when we got into a fight in my daughter's room. And she saw it. And I was like, what example am I sending to my child? And that's what gave me the fuel to move. because I didn't want her to think like, this is how men's supposed to treat women, and this is how woman's supposed to treat her man, and it was so unhealthy. And so I've had a conversation with my kids, apologize to them, because a lot of times when we married or in a marriage, we always think that it's divorce that fucks up our kids, and it's not the divorce, it's the dysfunction that fucks them up. Because now I see what my choice does when my kids respond in a certain way, when they struggle with certain things, or how my oldest feels about men because of what she witnessed. And now I have to do the damage control because I stayed, and that's something that you have to deal with. But it is what it is. And, life continues.
Well, the one thing that I do want to say is we need to start believing our women. We need to start protecting our women. It's so many times that we hear that these men were reported, that things were, nothing happens to protect these women. So I think that it's important that women get taken seriously and get helped, because these men, I mean, they're getting the restraining orders, they're doing all the things, but these men are still attacking these women. And I think that's something that really needs to be addressed in laws, So I think that's something we could do to
Yeah.
kind of
And
make
let
this
me tell
better.
you, it is a process.
Yeah.
Because I remember going downtown
Mm-hmm.
to get a restriction. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take my kids with me, and it was just so traumatizing. Like, if I could go back and do it again, I would have left the kids with somebody I trusted.
Right.
But I remember the day I left, I felt so freaking paranoid. Like, I needed them close to me. I can't tell you why, but I needed them to be like right up under me so I can see them, so that I could be okay and I know that they were safe, if that even makes sense.
Right.
But in hindsight, like, I wish yeah, in hindsight, I just wish I did it differently. Actually, I wish I left sooner.
Mm.
That's one of my regrets. Comment, someone says restraining orders are bullshit. You need an EPO. Folks only learn from TV shows.
I mean, yeah, they are though. I mean, because even if you had a restraining order, and if that man's crazy and shows up to right now, how long is the police response time?
Yeah.
No, that's how my friend lost her sister, is because the police response time.
Right.
2 hours later, whatever, something didn't happen. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll
And
take
it's
it
not,
seriously. And yeah, what are you gonna do? Throw the restraining order at them?
Yeah. Yeah.
they're still
Or
gonna
get a
think,
gun. I mean,
right.
I don't,
I,
what else can you do?
I think also too, and this is kind of where, and this is where I left off in my advocate work, was creating a program for girls, just is for women, young women, okay, and it was more on the empowerment side, but it was also going to educate on how to spot certain mental, verbal, physical abuse, how to report it, if you feel like, how to do the signs, just like those little like workshops that, hey, this is an empowerment workshop, but hey, let's talk about relationships in this, because we tend to stay away from that. But if we tell them young, or that might be the time where this 13-year-old comes and tells us, hey, my mom gets abused, or this happens, and
Mm-hmm.
and then we can catch it then. I feel like, if I felt like if anyone knew like that stuff we seen, and maybe took a measure to offer some kind of something where I got to go and just even talk to someone about it, I think that it would make a big difference for me. And that's where I left off in my haven't even really just came back around to it lately, but just educating young women on relationships and that type of, I would say like the warning signs.
Yeah.
Right. I think people need to know what are the signs in abusive relationships. I don't think people sometimes know, because they could have been born in it, so it's normal to them, right? So I think what you're doing is really valid and it's necessary.
Yes.
I need to read a comment. A Prince says, emergency protection order restraining is civil. Police response time is affected by folks calling for dumb shit. I can see that.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, because people call my cat is, I don't give a damn about your cat, but they do that. So
Yeah.
Tanya, I think you need to pin your information after this, so people, if you don't mind, people can reach out, and because I think that you can help in your wealth of knowledge for that, because that's something that is passionate for you, you know. And so maybe we could all go together and do some work with you. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, and of course, this last year, I've been getting my life together first. Coming out of another situation, situation number 3.
Right.
But it wasn't far off. It wasn't far off at all. So I think that is where I see myself going, and I still need time to get myself together. Like, I'm not there yet.
Right.
I'm not there yet.
But sometimes you don't have to wait to be perfect. You can still do what you're called to do and still work on yourself.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we want to wait to get to a certain point, and you're never going to arrive. No one is. And you can still do what you're called to do and work on yourself. Because I found that shit don't work when you're like, oh, wait, no, just do it. Because there's somebody that needs to hear what you have to say, that will only understand it from your perspective.
Yep.
Guys, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I've pretty much said it all. Like,
I agree. We did.
Let's I would love to see some good come out of all this. Like, I don't care about the mess. I don't care about the drama. Let's find out how we're going to make a solution for everybody else. Like,
right.
Where it is.
Right. What about you, Felicia?
Just the same. Just to try to find solutions and answers to what we can do now.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. I just think that we need to be open and empathetic and listen. What is that noise? Oh. And listen to people when they're talking. Because a lot of times, a lot of times we judge people. I know I can be judgy. I can be judgy. And you're like, she lying. But a lot of times, we be faking though. I don't know if you ever heard, I had a mentor tell me you got to fake it till you make it. I don't like that shit. I'm not suffering at this big old age. I'm just not. But anyway, guys.
Big old age.
Great. I will see you guys later. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Bye.